The Invader 1. What's up, guys? Invader 1 here once again, and this time we are going to talk about the N7 Fury. And well, what I did is, this gameplay is actually a Pug Gold gameplay, guys. So yes, I'm playing with random people and not the usual teammates, and and you guys, etc. And by the way, this is a precursor to something that somebody actually recommended in YouTube that I do. Although I do this a lot, I do game a lot with you guys, with a lot of the subs. I try to game as much as I can with you guys. I am definitely going to be taking out like an entire day of, like, I don't know, maybe 5 hours or 6 hours worth of gaming. It's going to be rough. But I'm going to take out an entire day just to, kind of like fan appreciation day, and just play with as many of you guys as I can. And I'll try to make a live stream and do one of those kind of thing, guys. So just get ready for that. So this is the Fury. You guys have been asking for the Fury for quite some time. This is a pug game that I just joined for gold, and it was a lot of fun. Got to meet some new people, and I am going to be working some platinum gameplay for her as well with a team that I know. So let's get into it. This is actually, when this character first came out, she was a little, some people weren't sure exactly how to spec her out, how to use her, and she's very well known right now. A lot of people were using her quite a bit in the beginning, and I'm just going to show you guys kind of like the way I like to play her, the way I like to use her. And Annihilation Field, let's start off with that, which is really excellent. Annihilation Field kind of primes everything. That's the way you want to think about it. She's kind of like a walking... think of her like a walking primer. She can prime every single character for biotic explosion, and at the same time, Annihilation Field does exactly what it says: annihilate. It destroys and kills, and it does have it does have damage. As you can see, 175 damage per second, just as at rank 1. So let's get into it. Rank 4, what you're going to want to do is always go for impact radius, so that you could have the highest amount radius with this, so that you could prime enemies that are pretty close but also mid-range. And this Annihilation feels a little weird, that sometimes for the boss enemies, they could be right in front of you sometimes, and it doesn't seem to prime them sometimes, like for example the brutes. So it does work, but sometimes it can be a little buggy. So I definitely recommend impact radius, so you can get the best out of this. Rank 5, I take damage taken, so like that, any target caught in the field takes more damage from all sources. That's weapons, that is biotic powers, etc. And that's the way you want it, because you're going to be setting off biotic explosions with this. Rank 6, I will go for Drain. This is excellent, because if your shields are down, or your barriers are down, sorry, then you can go next to a Marauder who has shields, and just drain his shields, and take him for yourself. So guys, it's really good. The recharge speed is not bad, 2.46 seconds. I mean, this lasts 90 seconds. That's long, a minute and 20 seconds. I'm sorry, a minute and 30 seconds, yeah. And the radius is 5.2 meters, which is not too bad. So this is really a great power, and you want it. Dark Channel, guys, I really like Dark Channel a lot, and then personally I wish I could put Dark Channel all the way up, because guys, if you put Dark Channel all the way to Pierce, it is so beast. It's so powerful. You could cast Dark Channel on a Banshee, constantly kill her. But what you want for her, you really don't want Dark Channel all the way. You just want to put 3 points. And what it does, it constantly it actually, like it says here, plagues an opponent with a persistent damaging biotic field. And sorry to read it out to you. It's kind of obvious with this one. And what's really good about it, lasts for 30 seconds, and it does at just 3 points, 146.25 damage per second. So in 30 seconds, it's constantly killing and hurting the enemy. And then if that enemy dies within, before the duration ends, it actually transfers that effect to another enemy, which is actually great. So the way I use Dark Channel is only for bosses. Like I cast it first on a Banshee, cast it first on a Brute, and then I use Throw. So like that, I don't have to get up too up close all the time to the boss enemies, even though I do it anyways in this gameplay. And you want Throw maxed out, guys, because this is what you're going to use to detonate Annihilation Field. And of course, to get the maximum amount of damage, biotic damage powers out of a biotic explosion, you want two powers, what the primer and the detonator, to be maxed out. So since Annihilation Field is maxed out and Throw is maxed out, which is what you're going to use to detonate your Annihilation Field, it is extremely powerful. So let's go into Throw. You're going to want Force on this puppy, so at the same time it doesn't just do a biotic explosion, but it's also very strong. It can drop enemies. You're going to want Detonate, so you can increase the force and damage of biotic explosions by 50%. Rank 6 force and damage, of course, because you want this thing to be really good. If you see the force, 1005 N. If you guys didn't know this, the kind of force that you need to actually stagger a Phantom or drop a Phantom is 1000. That's like, for example, a biotic charge. So let's say if you strip the Phantom's barriers and you use Throw, you should be able to drop her like a bad habit. So that's that. For N7 Fury, what I do is I go for damage and capacity. I want more power damage, and rank 5 more power damage. And for fitness, I max her out, guys, because that's just the way to go for me. Okay, for gold, the way I like to set her up is just literally with a Talon. And I like to use the Pistol Power Magnifier. Increases the power damage by 30%, which is absolutely amazing. So it makes her Annihilation Field amazing. It makes her Throw even more amazing. And I like to put the Pistol Piercing Maw, so at least I get some, some light armor penetration, which is really, really good. The kind of equipment I like to put is the Get Scanner, so like that you can see enemies through walls and you know where you're going, and because she can actually go through walls, and if you want to actually warp there, you can go right ahead. Now for this gameplay, I only have Power Amplifier Module 2, which is only 20% power damage. So if you put Power Amplifier Module 4, which is 50% power damage, you can literally walk up to enemies and they're just dying. And you'll see in this gameplay that this character, I'm just pretty much destroying everything. I have a few setbacks here and there. I know some weird moments where I got killed that I couldn't explain at some points, but that's the way this game is. It has its setbacks, but still, yeah, you can pretty much destroy everything with her. And for ammo, you're gonna want to go with only 2 ammo types, guys. You're gonna want to go with either warp ammo. I would say warp specifically because you get more damage and you got a biotic damage bonus, or with incendiary rounds. Now, for incendiary rounds, again, the reason I say warp rounds first is because you get the biotic damage bonus, and it's insane. So if you prime an enemy with Annihilation Field or Dark Channel, and then you shoot, you get the biotic damage bonus, and your weapon damage is so much more powerful. And on this gameplay, I have the pistol rail lamp too, and that's the way I like to go. So let's get into the gameplay, guys. Alright, so we're playing on Glacier, and I actually wanted to put Glacier Hazard, but since this is a pug game and these guys are random, I didn't know them, just got to meet them in this game. I didn't want to scare them off, and next thing you know, I'm soloing every wave, so I didn't want it to be like that. So we put it on Glacier, and I strapped on this gear bonus, which is absolutely excellent. I love the Get Scanner on her because on a small bike like this, it lets you see where the enemies are at. You can get in close, or you can kind of teleport through the walls to where the enemy is at and just absolutely destroy them and annihilate them. That's what I love about the name to her Annihilation Field power. It's exactly what it is. It's Annihilation Field. It annihilates the enemies, and it primes them so well. Now, the good thing about all the latest updates that we got, like for example the pistol power amplifier, the modification that I added on my pistol, it's absolutely awesome because it adds another level of power damage that we just didn't have before, and it makes her so much more powerful because you can put a power amplifier module 4, and you could even use for example, the gear bonus. Let's say you didn't want to go with the Get Scanner, you could actually go with the Adaptive War Amp, which will actually give you another additional, I believe it's 15% biotic power damage bonus. So when you add and stack all of these up, I mean, you can actually go into a spawn and just wreck everything. And this is pretty much what I do. I go in there, just pretty much prime everything with annihilation field and just start destroying everything by doing biotic explosions with throw. So except for like the bigger brutes, the big brute enemies, or any of the boss enemies like the Banshees, where I actually don't use throw to detonate. I actually use my other powers, like for example Dark Channel. I prime with Dark Channel and then use throw to detonate. And the reason I do that is because Dark Channel has a constant effect, which you want on a Banshee, for example. So she'll have a hard time regenerating her barrier. She'll have a hard time doing that because she's constantly getting damaged. So that's a great thing about Dark Channel. So that's why I do that, and at the same time, it allows me to kind of do biotic explosions from far. Now, those biotic explosions are very powerful. They're not the most powerful because it's, well, pretty much because Dark Channel is not maxed out. But they're still very, very powerful, and with the pistol power, amplifier and the power amplifier module, well, it's still very, very powerful. You can do a lot of damage. So that's something that I love about her. And mind you, you know what's interesting? She is not necessarily my playstyle, but I actually do enjoy playing her on gold. And I've played her on platinum here and there, but just there were moments that we were just playing randomly with buddies, and it wasn't one of those moments that I had recorded anything, which I probably should have. Maybe I could have had the platinum gameplay before the gold gameplay, but still, that will be coming up soon, by the way, guys, because as you guys know, I pretty much known for platinum, and at the same time, I am coming up with more team games and team videos coming up because we have more speed runs to show you guys. Yes, the teams have been working on speedrun tactics for other maps, and I know I've been taught that, but it's kind of that's the toughest thing about setting something like that up, because you have to work with people's schedules, especially the people that you want to work with, people who you have kind of like good synergy with on speedruns. And let me tell you something that is very important. Team synergy is very important for tactics like that when you do higher level tactics, high level tactics like speed runs on platinum, because you want to play with a team that can coordinate, can communicate, and it's not just going out of their way to do something totally different. You're kind of your true team. You have to make sure that you're not getting out of place. It's kind of like the military. Everybody has their orders, everybody has their position, everybody has their objective, and that is what's great about it, because you do something like that and then you end up with a great time on a speed run, and you can do something absolutely amazing. And as you guys have been noticing on the late speedrun videos, a lot of you guys didn't even know what speedruns were, and I'm so happy about that, because speedruns are nothing new. The speedruns have been around since this game came out. But I have been meaning to kind of, for a long time, I wanted to get a few of the groups that constantly do speedruns involved with making videos with me, video guides, so that the rest of the community would know, because a lot of people didn't know what speedruns were. And now that they know, they're like, wow, this is absolutely amazing. You don't have to cheat. And that's one of the reasons I started doing speedrun guides. Because I didn't want people to resort to cheating. I didn't want to see the missile glitch. I mean, why do the missile glitch for half an hour when you could do it speed runs in 9 minutes? 9 to 10 minutes, you could get 150,000 credits. Matter of fact, doing the cheat is cheap. It takes longer, and it's a waste of time compared to a speed run. So, that's one of the reasons why I did that. And, and at the same time, I'm glad that you guys I've gotten a lot of good feedback. Just recently, I didn't realize that some of the PS3 guys, I didn't know this, but the thing is that I do these videos and I never assume anything. I never assume that anybody even looks at them, except even though I do get hits, but I never assume that anybody who comes into my lobby is a fan or a sub or anything like that. But just recently I found out that some of the speedrun guys that they just told me, like, oh well, you were an inspiration. The videos that you showed us taught us, what speedruns were, and got us into them. And now, like for example, you guys know the Jade speedrun guide that we put out there. That was by the PS3 group. The PS3 players got together with my buddy Jose, and they came up with the strategy, and they had kind of gotten that inspiration of doing speedruns, from watching the guides and learning how to do spawn control tactics and all that kind of stuff. So, and all that translated into regular games. Like for example, here I'm rocking the Fury. I'm doing my thing, and at the same time, I already know where the spawns are at. That's the whole thing about taking one part of the game. Let's say if it's a speed run or a solo, and kind of putting it together with your play. In this situation, this is a pug game. I don't know anybody. Although some of the people are communicating in this game, which was actually great. Not everybody's communicating. Not everybody's communicating all the time, and at the same time, you can't always depend on a pug game on your team all the time. You should be able to, but you can't do it all the time. So you kind of have to know or remember all the skills that you've picked up and either doing speed runs, doing regular games, team games with your buddies or your friends, or even speed runs. Those are things like spawn control. And at the same time, getting to know your character. Like this character, she's very flimsy. Like the N7 Fury is actually very, very flimsy, and she could get hit like one shot and she's down. Like for example, in this previous shot here before when I died, I was running to get one of my teammates who he told me, "Hey, I'm going down." And I'm like, okay, I'm running over to you. I was actually going to teleport, but by the time I was about to teleport, the Banshee just did her freaking Nova yell and busted my behind. So that, I was a little frustrating. But, things like that happen, and she immediately goes down. The good thing about her, though, her annihilation field actually regenerates her barrier. So if you do find a Banshee or a Marauder or an enemy that you can steal some of the barriers from, that is a really, really great thing. She also has a really good melee, by the way, guys. As you notice, I haven't used it at all in this entire gameplay to kill an enemy, but I do it in between waves just for fun because it looks really, really cool. She looks she looks all cute and all, doing her little kicks in the air. But the thing about it is that it's actually very powerful, but I rarely ever use it, only because I'm mostly either playing Platinum or Gold. And on Gold, yeah, her melee will do great. But on Platinum, it's actually hilarious. So let me tell you guys a little story about this. I was playing with Chris Janshi, who's one of the QA developers for BioWare. And really cool guy. If you guys didn't know, I actually dedicated my Platinum solo with the Turing Ghost Infiltrator to him because it's just a really cool guy. He just took out time to game with me and a few buddies of mine, and he was playing the Fury. We were playing on Platinum. We were like, okay, well let's play on Platinum, and it was hilarious because at one moment he decides to do the heavy melee, and the moment he does the heavy melee, the N7 Fury appears in front of a Prime, and she immediately gets dropped. It was so freaking hilarious. It was so funny. I wish I could show you guys the gameplay. I do have it, but I for something like that, I have to ask permission because I would not want to, put a BioWare developer, footage unless he was okay with that. I'm sure he would be, but I just I have to take out time. But it was just funny because the heavy melee is awesome, but it kind of puts you in a risky situation where she has that animation for like half a second, and that half a second you could get dropped by a Prime or get shot in the head or whatever. So those are some of the risks that you take with her. Now, besides that, guys, her annihilation field, her biotic explosions are fast. They're furious. They're awesome. They're really powerful and badass. She's a really close range character. Now, I have seen one time I played in a pug game and I did see somebody play her. Very interesting. Like the way they used her, they actually had a sniper rifle on her, and I found that quite interesting. I really never thought to put a sniper rifle on Fury because she's just up close and personal. But if you're in a situation that you don't want to get too close, you could actually just use well, Dark Channel and Throw to detonate from far in some instances and just snipe the enemies. Now, the guy would get really, really close as well when it's suited, but there were situations where he would just snipe and he actually had the Valiant on her, which I found quite interesting as well. That's another configuration I never thought, I never thought to use. I don't know if you guys may want to try it. It's not necessarily my playstyle, but I thought it was interesting, and he actually did quite well. He was using the sniper rifle, the Valiant, to make sure that he can still get kills and everything without having to get up close and personal. Now, for Platinum, what I normally do with her is I don't just use the Talon. Well, I switch the weaponry. I actually go with something like the Acolyte, and I still use the pistol power magnifier on the Acolyte, and I go with an SMG. The reason I do that is because of the Phantoms. On Platinum, you will get Phantoms, so I'll use the Acolyte to strip her barriers, and then as soon as you get in front of her, you can do your biotic explosion because she'll be primed by the annihilation field. Now you can still do that, even though even with just having the Talon on, and if you're really good with the Talon, you'll be fine. The thing is that sometimes the Phantoms put their protective bubble up, and it becomes a little bit of a pain. They can resist power. They can resist powers at that point in time. So by using the Acolyte first, she goes into a different animation. When you strip her shields, she goes into a different animation where she's not putting on her bubble. She's actually trying to hide. She's vulnerable at that moment. And if you hit her, you prime her, you destroy her, you annihilate her furiously, then you can definitely destroy her, and that's the reason why I go for the Acolyte on Platinum. So that's the only switch that I would do if I'm going from Gold to Platinum with Fury. I would actually put something like the Acolyte and then an SMG. I prefer the Hurricane. Some people actually prefer the Collector SMG. I'm fine with both. I actually like the Collector SMG. I've used it quite a bit when it came out. I did a review on it a long time ago. I actually like it. I do like the Collector SMG. It's not as powerful, but it's really good to use on a character like this. And the way you use the Collector SMG, it's not to use it as the main source of damage. She's a biotic. She's going to do biotic explosion. That's the main source of damage, is her powers. I mean, if she really doesn't need a pistol, she really doesn't need weapons. But what you use a weapon like the Collector SMG on her for is to kind of like in between your power recharge to still continue doing damage to the enemy, so that the enemy doesn't get their barriers back up, so that you can constantly continue to do damage on the enemy. So that's what you want to use the Collector SMG, and to kind of like finish, taking off the last little bit of armor, in between power recharge on an enemy that's about to die. So that's the way you use it, and to apply your ammo type. Let's say you're using incendiary rounds on the enemy. So that's what it's about. On casters, the Collector SMG, that's really what it is. You're really not going to destroy a Banshee with the Collector SMG, just the Collector SMG. What you're doing is you're using Annihilation Field. You're using Throw. You're using Dark Channel. You're using your powers. So I think that's kind of obvious, but at the same time, some people need to hear it. Sometimes, it's kind of like, oh, okay, that's true. That makes sense. That makes sense, Invader. I totally get that. And, it's sometimes we need to hear those kind of things so we can understand, well, this is why I would do this. This is why you'd want to go with that. Now, the thing about her teleportation, even with any other characters that have teleportation, guys, it's that it's very risky. Sometimes you could get really messed up, so you have to really understand the map very well, or where you're trying to teleport. There were situations even in this gameplay where I was trying to teleport, and I was stuck. It wasn't happening. Either the walls were too thick or whatever, and I wasn't teleporting. So that was a little frustrating. So you got to be very careful as to how you go about it. Don't wait till a Banshee's like literally right in front of your face to teleport, unless you know that you can teleport out of there for sure. You're positive that section you can teleport out of there. So the good thing about the teleport is that it only takes very, very little the very little from her. It doesn't really do anything. Like when you teleport, you're not going to like not have barriers at that moment in time. So that's a good thing. At least you can get in and out of situations very easily. And in here, when it came to the extraction, I took advantage of that. So I was at extraction, and I would go in and out, just to, get in and help out the team and get some kills, and then I would just get out, go into the middle of the map, just to get away from the action and stay alive. So that was a good thing about that, and that's one of the ways that you want to use her. So when it comes to this guy, when it comes to the N7 Fury, guys, she's actually pretty amazing. I've actually seen platinum solos with her. She's really, really good. I enjoy her quite a bit. And when she first came out, everybody was rocking her because she was just so darn powerful. And now, especially now, with all these additional power amplifiers and all these modifications that we have now, all these things she is just such a beast of a character. Unfortunately, she is very, very flimsy. Now, if you do know how to use her, you're constantly taking cover, you're defined. I've had quite a few people who I know who play her all the time. I had a gamer, one of the subs that started gaming with me at one point, and he was using her all the time, like seriously all the time, and he rarely ever went down. I mean, I think he would go down maybe 3 times in a game, kind of like the way I did here. But that's the whole thing with a character like this. You want to make sure you take cover. You want to make sure you teleport in and out, and you have awareness of your surroundings. And that's the great thing about using the get scanner as well, so you can know what's going on with your surroundings. So guys, there's a few other things that I want to talk about before the review on her finishes. Is that I am, as you guys noticed, I've merged, almost done merging my channels. What I am doing is I am bringing over the games that I am playing, um, and just put them all in one channel. So if you guys don't see Mass Effect stuff one day and you see another game, don't worry. I am going to be doing more Mass Effect guides. I have been doing a lot of Pedro videos. I'm just lining them up for you guys so that you guys don't get any um, you don't have any delays. And at the same time, I'm doing the Citadel DLC. So sorry that that's so late. I'm so behind, but that is coming up for sure. So as you guys can tell, the channel is going to be a little different in the sense that there are going to be other games besides Mass Effect, and you guys are already noticing that. But I am going to be doing a lot more Mass Effect stuff because that's what I'm known for. And I love Mass Effect. Who doesn't love Mass Effect? I mean, you can replay Mass Effect so many times. It's amazing, and that's why we love it, because it changes every time, and it's just such a freaking amazing game. So you are going to see a lot more Mass Effect as well. We're going to continue with the playthroughs. We're going to do a lot more fun things, and I've also been talking to somebody else, and I'm going to keep a little secret because I think you guys are going to really enjoy some of this guy's work, and kind of partnered up with another buddy of mine, a new friend on Mass Effect, and to do some really, really amazing noob guides and some really, really amazing Mass Effect 3 videos that I think you guys will find hilarious and absolutely just absolutely awesome. So I'm gonna bring newer content, not just the content that you guys have been seeing, but content that you haven't seen before for Mass Effect. So yes, you guys have seen me do platinum speedruns, platinum solos, platinum team games, and gold games, gold solos, duos, trios, challenges, every challenge that you can think of on platinum, on gold, and whatever. And I'm still going through more challenges. And you think, well, what else is there to do? Well, guess what? There's still some new things that I've actually been able to figure out for this game, which is absolutely awesome. So stay tuned. Stay tuned. I definitely have a lot more, things coming up, and I think that you guys will really, really enjoy. So, well, guys, this is my N7 Fury Pug gameplay. She invades gold. She invades all these Pug games. She's absolutely awesome, absolutely amazing. What's great is when you get like the entire team full of Furies. It's just absolutely insane. Everything just drops and dies. So that's maybe something that I will do for the Platinum gameplay, just to gotta show you guys how you would play her on Platinum. It will be pretty much the same way, we're playing her here, and the build wouldn't change much at all. So I will make sure that I get some Platinum gameplay as well. so that you guys can really enjoy that. But definitely stay tuned for what's gonna happen, guys. And I have a whole bunch of new stuff coming up for Mass Effect. And at the same time, I did. By the way, I did try to get some information from the Bioware developers as to Mass Effect 4, but they're not supposed to talk about it. So that's all I got was, well, all I can tell you, Invader, is that yeah, we're doing Mass Effect 4. I don't know if it's a prequel. I don't know if it's a sequel. I don't know if it's before Shepard, after Shepard. I know the story. I know Shepard's story is done. I really don't know what Mass Effect 4 is going to be about. But obviously, I'm going to be playing it. That's why I'm still playing Mass Effect 3 and doing multiplayer, because I want to be definitely want to be one of the lead commentators for that game. I think that Mass Effect has been just such an awesome game, and I've done my best to bring you guys some of the best content out there, and I'm doing my best to bring even more. So again, guys, I hope that you guys have truly enjoyed this. The N7 Fury is absolutely amazing. We all love her. She's sexy, she's beautiful, she is fabulous, she's absolutely awesome, and at the same time, she is absolutely powerful. So guys, this is it. Until the next video, thank you for being awesome, great subscribers, and Invader 1 out.